Kusuzangpo, you are watching Bhutan This Week with me, Tashiangdan. Our top stories of the week. His Majesty the King grants audience to RIM graduates ahead of convocation. India assures to give exemption on rice export ban for Bhutan. And high number of foreign players in Bhutan Premier League expected to develop football. His Majesty the King granted an audience on Wednesday to the Royal Institute of Management graduates ahead of their convocation ceremony. His Majesty spoke to the graduates about the challenges, opportunities, and the way ahead for Bhutan as a nation. The 25th convocation of the Royal Institute of Management for the 2021 to 2023 cohort of graduates was held on Thursday. The graduates belong to Masters of Business Administration, Postgraduate Diploma in Public Administration, Postgraduate Diploma in Financial Management, Postgraduate Diploma in National Law, Diploma in Information Technology, and Diploma in Financial Management. The 25th convocation also includes Graduate Diploma in Accounting and Certificate in Accounting, which was conducted in collaboration with the Desong Skilling Program. After the Parliament passed the Pay Revision Act last month, public servants in the country are enjoying a 50% minimum salary hike. While this is an encouragement for the public servants, it has left the private sector employees concerned. They say the increased salaries of the public servants is already leading to a rise in the cost of living. Call it inflation, impact of pay hike, or increase in prices at source. The prices of goods, especially essential food items, are increasing. For instance, a bag of Rajpok rice that used to cost 1,050 ngitam in the previous month now cost 1,220 ngitam. And the private sector employees, especially those with meager incomes, are the hardest hit. Private sector employees in Thimphu who did not want to comment on camera said it is difficult to live in the capital as prices of commodities such as rice and fuel increase rapidly.
Inflation is growing rapidly in Thimphu. The price of vegetables, groceries and petrol has increased. For private sector employees like us, it is difficult to sustain.
My monthly salary is 10,000 ngitam. From that, I have to pay 5,000 ngitam as house rent, and I buy groceries and other necessities with the remaining which leaves without any saving.
The private sector employees in other districts shared similar views. The concern is not limited to just affordability of food and rent. Some are worried if they will be able to provide a decent education for their children.
With the increase in the wages of civil servants, the prices of commodities have increased. For private sector employees like us, we would be able to afford only 2 meals a day instead of 3.
Likewise, a private sector employee in Paro said it is disheartening to not get a pay hike, reasoning that those working in the private sector have to work extra hours compared to some of the public servants. She said that private sector employees will be left with no other options but to leave for better opportunities abroad if the working environment and wages are not made desirable like the public servants.
Our salaries are increased only if our sales go well. If not, our salaries are fixed. My biggest worry is that with the increased prices of commodities, we will not be able to sustain. Our salaries will exhaust by mid of the month or within the first 2 weeks since we have to pay rent and buy basic necessities.
The prices of commodities have increased with the pay hike. For private enterprises like ours, our business is not going well, due to which we receive less salary. It is very difficult for us.
With the pay hike entitled only for the public servants for now, all that private sector employees can do is hope that the inflation remains under control in the country. The current inflation rate in the country stands at 3.83%. As proposed by the 6th Pay Commission, the Parliament endorsed the Pay Revision Act last month to ensure that public servants are able to maintain a reasonable standard of living with their salaries. Tashyangdan, PBS News. With about a week to go until the moratorium on vehicle import ends, car dealers in the country are anxiously awaiting the Finance Ministry's decision, preferably in their favor. They claim that the import ban is taking a heavy toll on their business, with some even planning to lay off their employees if the ban continues. The government banned the import of vehicles in August last year as an economic recovery measure to save the country's depleting foreign reserves.
The ban on import of vehicle is in effect until next Friday. The government issued a directive in August last year announcing ban on import of vehicles for 6 months with an exception on utility vehicles, heavy earth-moving machines, agriculture machineries, and vehicles for the use in tourism industry and public transportation such as taxis and buses. The Finance Ministry issued another circular in February this year extending the ban by 6 more months. Vehicle dealers said it has been difficult for the companies to run the business the past 1 year.
Maintenance and selling parts only is not enough to meet our overhead expenditure. If it continues again, we have 30 to 40 employees here and we have no income. So we might have to send them on leave without pay.
Till now we survived because of our savings. Though we have huge overhead expenses like rental, salary, utility bills, etc. From our savings, we met our expenses. If government continue to, the ban for importing of the vehicles, we have to slash some of our staff or lay off our staff.
As vehicle dealers wait for the government's next decision, some of them are suggesting a partial lifting of the ban as an alternative to save their dying business if it remains in place for some more time.
Government should differentiate and identify small cars and give people the opportunity to drive.
Earlier, we used to, because there was no restriction, we could import any number of vehicles. Though after this ban on import, we are facing very difficulties due to our overhead expenses. Though government is having fund problem, they may allow us to import at least 30 units of vehicles a month. Vehicle having worth around 12 lakhs to 15 lakhs, 15 lakhs and below. At least 30 units a month. If they allow us to import that, then easily we can sustain.
Bhutan imported around 8,000 vehicles in 2021. The import of vehicles is one of the main factors leading to depleting foreign currency reserves. When the government imposed the ban in August last year, Prime Minister Dr. Lote Sring said the ban will save the country more than 5 billion item in the year. According to the Royal Monetary Authority's monthly statistical bulletin, the foreign currency reserve has come down to a little over $500 million in May this year from almost $780 million in May last year. Although no decision has been taken yet, the Finance Ministry says they will soon submit a proposal to the Cabinet and the decision will be taken only then. Sam Tendolkar, BBS News.
The Bhutan Development Bank (BDBL) lifted the loan moratorium for performing clients across all sectors in all branches on 9th August. This comes after an enhanced process for loan approval and eligibility assessment was introduced, according to the bank. The bank also stated that both pre-sanction and post-sanction controls have been enforced to reduce the occurrence of non-performing loans (NPLs) in the future. According to the bank, a framework is also in place to ensure that the funds are used for their intended purposes only. However, the loans are not available for new clients in majority of the branches as of now. The Royal Monetary Authority suspended the loans for BDBL in May last year, following the bank's increasing rate of non-performing loans. The Prime Minister said the Indian government has given a green signal to resume exporting its non-basmati white rice to Bhutan during a Facebook Live session recently. The Foreign and External Trade Minister, Dr. Tanjidoji, also told BBS that he received a text message and verbal assurance from Indian counterparts guaranteeing the export of non-basmati white rice and some other rice brands to Bhutan soon. The government recently wrote to the Indian government requesting to lift the ban on rice export for Bhutan. India imposed a ban on export of non-basmati white rice on 20th July to stabilize prices in the domestic market.
We did not receive official confirmation in writing, but the Indian government has agreed to resume exporting non-basmati white rice to Bhutan. In case if things don't go well, I urge you to buy rice in less quantity for consumption. But I am requesting everyone to avoid stocking up rice amid the sharp increase in prices. If you are rushing and stocking up on rice in huge quantities, you will be at a loss later. I can guarantee that Bhutan will never face any shortage of rice from India.
From allowing us to feel nearly or possibly all emotions that we experience in our lives to the songs we sing along to in the car, our favorite music has the power to bring us joy. To ensure the continuity of the music industry, the Copyright Act allows musicians to protect their original works, enabling them to control music distribution, usage, and monetization, ensuring. Despite this, a lack of awareness has led to a rise in instances where singing reality shows, karaoke, and radio stations use songs without the musician's knowledge, emphasizing the need for greater awareness and respect for creators' rights.
Music, paintings, and intellectual drawings and literary compositions can be copied by someone without the consent or knowledge of the original composer. This is illegal as per the Copyright Act. The Copyright Act of Bhutan 2001 gives exclusive legal rights to the creators over their original works in terms of literary works, films, musical compositions, and artistic works such as paintings, drawings, photographs, architecture, and sculpture. It allows the creators to control how their creations are used, distributed, and monetized. According to the Copyright Act, any infringement, if committed willfully or by negligence and for profit-making purposes, shall be punishable by imprisonment for a period of up to 1 year or by a fine of up to 1 million itam or both. Since 2020, the Thimphu District Court has registered a total of 5 cases related to copyright infringement and piracy. However, musicians in the country say the majority of people are not aware of copyright, especially when it comes to music. The musicians BBS talked to expressed concerns about infringement happening in singing reality shows, karaoke, and radio stations. They said there's a need for better awareness and respect for creators' copyrights.
So far, I have composed songs, but there hasn't been a single person who has sought my approval while using it. Even in reality singing shows, I have seen our tracks being used. Actually, in other countries, just to use the track of the creators, they have to pay for it. But in our country, even if it is not possible to pay, I feel it will be better if they can at least inform the rightful copyright owner. But that is not happening, and people freely use the music.
There are people who aren't aware about it, who don't even understand the concept of copyright. But at the same time, there are people who are fully aware of what it is, and I must say that they use it for their exploitative business. So I think therefore I think it is very important for us to have a system where it actually protects creators and also rewards and safeguards them at the same time.
Without having no permission, there have been a lot of songs covered. There have been a lot of songs which was like duplicated, should I say, by some software, using some software and making their own, which is like not at all right. And by seeing this, we are not trying to stop someone who's coming with his own talent and ideas. We really appreciate that.
Violation of copyright hampers the growth of the creative industry.
Songs being used without the permission of the song owners, then movies being downloaded and uploaded on their private channels. So these are all acts of copyright violation if we strictly adhere to the Copyright Act. And these kind of acts are detrimental to the growth of the creative industry, because when there is infringement, it discourages the creators to create further. So ultimately it hinders and destroys the progressive growth of the creative industry in the country.
If the copyright system is correctly in place, and if we have one song that does really well, and all, suppose the radios, the karaoke's, and the reality shows want to use that, and they pay a small royalty, then I'm happy. Not only do I get the acknowledgement, at the same time I would be rewarded for that, and that will push me to further work on something that is even better than what I've just created. And it's not only to me, it's for all creators.
Meanwhile, several of the singing reality show organizers that BBS talked to acknowledged that the copyright system in the country is weak. However, they said they make an effort to consult with the rightful owners before using their music. On the other hand, some said that they use tracks easily available in the market. According to the Department of Intellectual Property, the primary responsibility of enforcing the Copyright Act belongs to the copyright owner, as the Act is the government's biggest support for the creators.
It's the responsibility of the copyright owner to monitor and do surveillance of their copyright work, intellectual property thefts. And because many times there is this notion, and people think that the Department of Intellectual Property should be the agency going after the infringers, looking after intellectual property theft. But this is not true, because we as an administrative body, we do not directly engage in enforcing the rights, because we do not have the regulatory authority, nor we do have the enforcing rights to take up such operation.
Since 2012, more than 200 works have been registered by the creators with the Copyright Division of the Department of Intellectual Property. To further enhance the awareness of copyright and related rights, the department is looking at effective enforcement of rights by creating robust awareness programs for musicians, artists, and the general public. Despite challenges, people working in the music industry aim to strengthen the copyright system to protect their creations and make a positive difference. With better awareness and enforcement, they hope to foster the growth of the creative industry in the country. For Kinzal Hadan, this is Samtan Dolkar, BBS News.
In the ever-evolving landscape of technology, artificial intelligence, AI, is a powerful tool that can change how we live and work. Yet in this era, concerns about its impact loom large. bringing both worries and exciting opportunities that people need to understand about. A panel discussion titled AI in Bhutan, Balancing Traditional and Technological Advancement was held during the Bhutan Echoes to highlight the pros and cons of AI.
Professor Toby Walsh, a chief AI scientist at the University of New South Wales in Australia, said he believes and advocates that AI should be used to improve lives. He added that, for Bhutan, education and healthcare can reap the benefits of AI. Professor Walsh also cited examples of how AI can be used for education, with ChatGPT performing several tasks and is an excellent tutor. Similarly, Dr. Tsring Doji, the former Chief Executive Officer of Thimphu Tech Park, talked about the opportunities of AI for a country like Bhutan.
Unknowingly, we are already benefiting a lot from AI. AI can be used for education, AI can be used for environmental conservation, and AI can be used for improving efficiency and productivity at work. So all we need is to leverage the data that we have, and through machine learning we can implement all these different AI technologies at workplace.
He added that although there are a lot of fears revolving around AI, it is time for the country to strike a balance between culture and traditions and technologies.
So the very important thing for Bhutan now is how do we strike a balance between preserving our values and tradition and also adopting the technologies so that we can harness these technologies to solve the different problems that we face.
The panel discussion also highlighted the need for regulations to prevent potential negative consequences from AI. Devika Pradhan for BBS News.
The National Referral and Mongar Regional Referral Hospitals will no longer have to depend on private industries to supply medical oxygen. This is because the two hospitals received two pressure swing adsorption PSA medical oxygen generator plants each. The Ministry of Health inaugurated the plants on 9th August. With the installation of the plants, it is expected to ensure an uninterrupted supply of oxygen in the health centers.
The two plants will be able to produce and refill 100 medical oxygen cylinders in a day. According to the data from the National Referral Hospital, until now, the hospital spends around 19 million nitram in a year to refill the oxygen cylinders, but not anymore. Medical oxygen is an essential medicine used for patients at all levels of the healthcare system, including surgery, trauma, and maternal and child care. According to health officials, the need for such a plant in the hospitals arose when the country was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Officials added that in times of emergency, such as during the lockdowns and roadblocks due to monsoon, delivering oxygen cylinders was challenging.
This will be sufficiency for the oxygen, not only for pandemic, but for the routine illnesses also. And I was told that there was a lot of issues of transportation of cylinders from Mongar to this place, which took 2 days. So that will be totally resolved. We will be self-sufficient in the hospital. And if we have good concentration of oxygen coming in, we'll be able to supply to other district hospitals also.
To produce medical oxygen, the atmospheric air passes through an internal filtration and adsorbent system to separate nitrogen from the air. The plant then purifies the remaining oxygen. The plants are guaranteed to function for at least 10 years. The World Health Organization funded the plants costing over $700,000, which is around 58 million nitram. The Ministry of Health proposed the construction of the plants some 2 years ago. The ministry is also planning to install another plant in the Regional Referral Hospital in Gelifu. For Touch Decker, this is Dikil Hazom for BBS News.
With the highest number of foreign players registered so far, the BOB Bhutan Premier League this season is expected to be much more competitive as well as entertaining. More than 20 foreign players are participating in the country's top football league this year.
Thimphu Raven FC and Namla FC have registered the highest number of foreign players. Both the teams have 5 international football players each. There are 4 foreign players at Baro FC and Thimphu City FC. Meanwhile, Drukgyal has 3 foreigners and Transport United has 2. As per the Bhutan Football Federation, each football club can register a maximum of 5 foreign players. Only 4 foreigners can be fielded at a time in a match. Among them, majority of the foreigners are forwards. 9 are strikers, while there are 6 midfielders, 5 are defenders, and 3 are goalkeepers. According to the football clubs, the objective of recruiting foreign players is to improve the standard of Bhutanese football and make it more competitive.
One of the reasons why we bring foreign players is first of all, we are involved in club football not because of money or anything. Our sole interest is to develop the game. So in order to develop the game, we need to improve the standard. But nevertheless, their presence here generates a lot of excitement among the fans, which in turn helps to promote the game.
Main objective of bringing 5 foreign players is because to make a team a strong team and to challenge with the bigger club, just like Paro FC and Thimphu City. We are happy to see this foreign player to play in our club.
I came here purposely to improve Bhutan football also as a foreigner, and also to help this team to qualify. So now my achievement is to help them to remain BPL. After BPL, if any club have interest on me, I can play for that club also, because I like Bhutan.
According to some of the clubs, the foreign players get paid around $800 to $2,000 per month, depending on their experience and skills. Meanwhile, Paro FC is currently at the top of the league table on the goal difference, ahead of Transport United FC. Paro FC's Japanese striker Kozoa Homa is leading the goal scoring sheets with 8 goals. This is Ugendorji for BBS News.
That is it for this week. Do join us next week as well. Thank you for watching. Take care and goodbye.